Hello, I'm Anne-Marie Hoftailing, co-founder of Story Imprinting and the lady around here that does the chats and hats. So this is the brainchild of my client, lawyer, and dear friend Lydia Dostal, I have to say, who wanted me to sort of get on Facebook, wear some hats, and talk about anything because we were in the middle of a pandemic and a lot of global stress, and she just thought it would be cheerful and fun. Then over 1,000 people started liking it, commenting on it, and trying to share it. Some of the sharing was a little complicated, so we decided, why not house them here at Story Imprinting? Are they wacky? Are they weird? Probably. Are some people going to think, what is this lady doing? For sure, but that wouldn't be the first time. Here I'm just going to be talking about really positive things I've learned from coaching people over a decade, things I've learned from training, life things, I don't know, just whatever comes my way, and anything you want me to talk about. So drop a comment in the box below and let me know what interests you. And while you're at it, if you could like this video, that would be helpful. And if you want these to be delivered into your inbox, you got to subscribe. So with that, today I was thinking about the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. This is a book that's a favorite of mine, and I don't mean a favorite children's book. I mean a favorite book of mine. If you haven't actually read it, Dr. Seuss published it towards the very end of his life, and it's actually an incredibly beautiful, deep, and thoughtful book. And as I was reading through it a few weeks ago, I hit upon this little section that I'm just going to read to you, if you don't mind. We're going to do a little mini read-along. So I think this is really lovely because this is something that's at the heartbeat of a lot of sort of coaching and struggle. And here it is. You'll be famous, as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. Except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win because you play against you. This to me is really profound and incredibly true. There's some things sometimes you read that just strike you as so honest. And I think that what he's really talking about there is you are your own greatest battle in life. You believing that you are worthy, that you have a right to more, that you have the capacity and capability to rise to something greater. If you ask me the most common struggle I've ever observed in coaching, it's that people believe that they are destined for something bigger than they're living. They believe there's a greater version of themselves they have yet to meet. And they don't know how to find themselves. They don't know how to find this other version of themselves. And what I also want you to understand is these aren't people who, aren't living a great life, who aren't doing important things. They are. They're people who are wildly successful, who have all the trappings of success, who have a family, who are loved, but they feel like their contribution isn't enough. You've, I'm sure, heard that quote, the two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you figure out why. And I think this profound desire to understand our purpose drives us all. And when we feel like we aren't making some significant contribution, when we feel as we aren't rising and doing enough, what happens is I think it leads to depression. I think it leads to us being a little lost. I think it leads to being paralyzed and stuck. And I want to sort of have you think about this in a different way now. I've always been a writer. I've written my whole life, really. Before I could write, I thought I was writing by scribbling things. I would just scribble. I didn't even have the capacity to write yet, but I was for sure had some ideas that I thought I was gonna put down. Cy Trombley has nothing on me. If you don't know who that artist is, go check him out. I was doing a lot of that. It didn't make millions of dollars. At any rate, the truth of the matter is I'm never going to be some great American novelist. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because I don't dedicate myself to that discipline. It's not the most important thing in my life. That doesn't mean I can't use language to have an impact. It doesn't mean that some small blog post that I wrote didn't have meaning and purpose to somebody in the world. For me, it's the adjustment from the size of the impact. Stop thinking, oh, in order to be worthy of this life, in order to have a serious impact, I must cure a disease, solve a major problem. What you must do is impact every individual you encounter. I have this, I don't know what it is, if you want to call it a motto, if you want to call it a whatever you want to call it. My highest goal is that everyone who encounters me is a little better for having done so. Now, when I say that, I mean the person making my coffee. I mean the people who are in the audience when I have a speaking engagement. I mean any of you listening to this right now. That's my highest goal, for everyone who has encountered me to be a little better for having known me, whether that's known me deeply or known me casually. And I want you to know that I'm a human and I blow it a lot of the time. I blow it as a professional, I blow it as a person, because I am human. But that's the standard I'm trying to live by. That is my purpose. I think we get in trouble when we think our purpose is attached to money, when we think our purpose is attached to scale, when we think our purpose is attached to fame. It is attached to none of those things, in my opinion. It is attached to how do I make sure that I am operating in the world in a way that makes people better, that makes people feel elevated, safer, braver. That's what I'm trying to do. When I think of all the spaces that I coach people, and I coach people in executive groups, I coach people individually, what I'm really trying to do is make them feel safer and braver. Those are my goals. That's my purpose. It's not necessarily my purpose to be an Olympic, well, it's not necessary. Who are we kidding here? It is absolutely not my purpose to be an Olympic athlete, to be a CEO, to be a politician, to do any of those things. But I have coached all of those people. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to help people realize that they don't need to be walking on the ground because they got wings. And I say this to you so you understand, diminish all of those other variables that you're attaching to your purpose. It's not about fame. It's not about money. It's not about scale. It's about something deeper. And once you access that, you'll stop playing games against yourself. And you'll be in a clearer, more empowered space to both have impact and find deep, profound joy. I cannot tell you how important the work I do is for me. Every time somebody earns more, has a greater impact in the world, that does something for me that nothing else can. Everyone deserves to have that experience. If you're watching this, you deserve to have that experience. Let me tell you something. The person who serves you coffee, they might be filled with purpose in a way that the CEO ordering that coffee is not. So don't believe that sort of your title has anything to do with your purpose. Your purpose has to do with how you live. And when you reimagine that sort of sense of scope and you wrap your arms around that, you will live in a more empowered way filled with joy. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was a little bit meaningful for you. I hope it lifted your day. And if it didn't, don't watch these anymore. It's that simple. All right. See you next time.